Welcome to the Self-Trust Solution, the podcast for entrepreneurs, leaders, and high achievers who are done second-guessing and ready to execute with clarity. I'm your host, Dawn Leday, the Self-Trust Coach, and each week I'll help you build the one strategy that makes all others work, self-trust. This is where bold goals meet grounded action. Let's dive in. What if the obstacle wasn't a surprise? What if the frustration, the distraction, the discouragement, you knew they'd come and you had a plan? Welcome back. Today, I'm teaching you a tool that every high-achieving entrepreneur and leader needs in their back pocket, and that's the Obstacle Abatement Plan. No one wants to think about obstacles when they set a goal. No matter how brilliant your vision, how dialed in your strategy, or how committed you are, there will be bumps, slowdowns, and moments where everything feels a little harder than it should. But here's the thing. Obstacles don't mean you've failed. They mean you're on the path and really on it, not dabbling in it, but actually on the path. And with a little intention up front, you can turn those obstacles from derailers into data, and with it, build unstoppable momentum. Most people don't plan for obstacles. They'll just assume that they'll push through, or they hope they won't show up. But hope is not a strategy. And when they do, which they will, when hope is the strategy, we panic. We change direction. We start over. We start throwing spaghetti at the wall. We lose momentum, energy, focus, and belief. And that's where most goals die. Not because they were the wrong goal and not because you aren't equipped to meet it, but because the path wasn't prepared for the messy middle. That's where the obstacle abatement plan comes in. It's not about avoiding obstacles, it's about expecting them and choosing how you'll move through them before they even show up. The truth is, no goal is smooth sailing, but rocky seas don't have to mean delayed or forfeited goals. When you proactively anticipate what might trip you up and build a plan for how you'll respond, you reduce decision fatigue, stay grounded, and build resilience before you need it. So I'll tell you something that might surprise you. When I first created my own obstacle abatement plan, I didn't start with time management. I didn't start with perfectionism or visibility or skill building. I started with discouragement. Because here's what I noticed. Every time I felt discouraged, I went off track. I'd spiral into 10 new problem solution theories, try to tackle them all at once, and end up dividing my focus, effort, and energy. And then nothing would move forward. So I stopped pretending discouragement wouldn't show up. And I stopped making it a problem that it did. And instead, I built a strategy for it. One of the tools I created, a success menu that lives right above my desk. Discouragement is literally on the menu, not as a warning sign, but as a signal to pause and reconnect. Now, when it shows up, I don't spin out. I come back to my purpose. I focus on the people I'm serving. I remind myself of what's working, and I keep going with clarity, not chaos. So how do you start your own obstacle abatement plan? You don't have to plan for everything. And newsflash, you can't, right? We can't anticipate every bump in the road. But you do know yourself. You know your patterns. You know what tends to throw you. So start there. Ask, what usually gets in my way when I'm working towards a goal? Is it discouragement? Is it overwhelm? Or is it a tech issue? Isolation, overcommitting? Is it a lack of desire, boredom? If you know you will be interrupted, Being interrupted is an obstacle that you can anticipate and have a strategy for. Then ask, what will I do when that obstacle shows up? Not if, when. Third is to build your plan now so the decision is already made. That's what reduces overwhelm. That's what creates trust and momentum. So, first is to ask what usually gets in my way. This is ahead of time. This is when you're planning your goal roadmap, your execution plan. Then you're going to ask, what am I going to do when that obstacle shows up? And then finally, you're going to build the plan, the strategy to meet that obstacle. You don't have to wait until you're stuck to get support. You can support yourself now. This is how we reduce overwhelm, we build trust, we normalize obstacles because, hey, they're going to show up, and making them a problem derails us. Obstacles are not the problem. Not planning for obstacles is what creates a problem. The obstacle abatement plan isn't just a productivity hack, it's actually a self-trust strategy. It's an execution strategy. It tells your brain, I've got you. I'm not going to disappear when things get hard. And that creates the kind of momentum that doesn't fizzle out the first time the wind shifts. What will you take away from today's episode? My goal is for you to rethink obstacles. Less as a barrier towards your goal and more as an integral part, an expected and anticipated part of your goal. Obstacles are part of the process. They don't mean you're off track. They're proof you're doing meaningful work. Planning for resistance builds resilience. When you anticipate what might get in your way, you reduce overwhelm and follow through with more clarity. Your most common obstacle may not be what you think. For me, it was discouragement. And once I named it, I could plan for it. And finally, self-trust is built in moments of challenge, not just success. And when your plan includes support for those moments, you become unstoppable. If this episode hits home and you're ready to build a goal strategy that actually anticipates real life, not just ideal conditions, join me inside the Self-Trust Lab while strategy coaching is still included. This is the kind of support that makes your next goal feel inevitable, not exhausting. You'll learn how to create a goal roadmap, a mindset of achievement, an obstacle abatement plan, and a real follow-through strategy customized to how you work best. Head to theselftrustcoach.com to join now. And remember, you're not behind. You're not broken. You're building something that matters. And your obstacles, they're just part of the process. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next week. Inside every goal is a decision, an action, an evaluation, and an adjustment. Keep building your rhythm with the Self-Trust Solution. Subscribe, leave a review, and explore how we can work together at theselftrustcoach.com. I'll see you in the next episode.